So, I recently purchased my first ever CGC slab. This guy right here. And I am very pleased with the way it looks. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. The slab feels good in my hands. It looks really nice. It's clear. I really like the subgrades. And it helps that this hoe is just absolutely gorgeous with that double foil. But I've been on the fence for a while about whether or not I want to start submitting with CGC in light of PSA not accepting submissions at the moment. I think now is a great time to switch over. So I've taken some of my better looking hollows. I mean, I have like hundreds of cards that I should be grading that I've been saving up for a long time, which I intend to grade. I just haven't really gotten around to it. So I picked out like, I think this is almost 20 cards that I'm gonna send off to CGC as a standard submission. Just gonna run through them real quick. Got a base Alakazam, a lot of base hollows here. It's a really clean copy. Centering top to bottom is a little bit off. Wow, that hollow really shines on this guy. Here's the back. Looks pretty good. Because I haven't ever sent anything to CGC myself, it's hard for me to say, oh, this is gonna be like 9 edges or 9 corners. I think this one's got a few light scratches, maybe? Looking at it there, it looks like there's some scratches, like down there at the bottom. But, wow, that looks really nice in this lighting. Here's the back. Little base Clefairy action. Gyarados. I have a couple of these that are really strong. I like this one in particular because I think the centering on the front is nice. High hopes on him. There's a back. Yeah, really solid. A lot of these are really solid. I already have PSA graded counterparts to some of these, which depending on how these grade with CGC, I might end up selling some of those PSA ones and keeping the CGC ones, or vice versa. I really only want one copy for my personal collection. There's Mewtwo. Like Mewtwo here, I already have a PSA 10, fortunately. Still can't believe I graded that. So pretty much no matter what, I'm probably not going to be keeping that Mewtwo, but we'll see. This Nidoking is another really strong one, except centering top to bottom. I don't know how that's going to affect the overall grade with CGC, but I mean, this is a really clean. I mean, look at that. Looks pretty nice. A lot of these are really strong. I've got a Raichu here. It can be kind of hard to tell through the card saver, like all those little tiny scratches are on the card saver and not the Raichu. Here's the back. Corners are a bit rounder than on the Nidoking. I like the ones that have a bit squarer corners. I think it looks a bit sharper. Got Zapdos here. That's pretty nice. Yeah, so that's it on the base unlimited ones. I have a PSA 8 no symbol Snorlax. And then I have this guy here, which looks really clean. Some scratches. Again, it's hard to tell through the card saver. I'm pretty sure there's one scratch somewhere in that area. But overall, the hollow looks pretty clean. And, I mean, centering's really strong. And the back on this, like, wow. For a jungle hollow, it's kind of hard to believe the back looks that well centered and that clean. But there it is. Been holding on to this one for a while, so I'm excited to see how it does. I've got this really clean Dark Blastoise here. which I don't actually have a PSA graded counterpart to this, and it makes me question whether or not for my own personal stuff I want to have like strictly PSA or a mix of PSA and CGC, and I think I'm okay with a mix just because this particular copy is so clean that I wanted to give it a shot with CGC. I think it would do really well on the subgrades. So we'll see. I've been holding on to this Lugia for years. It's been like my binder copy. You can see those are actually on the card, some of those scratches down there. I got it for $27 years ago. Can't believe how much things have changed since then. It actually has this little spot right there. That is surface wear on the card. It's not like a little fleck of dust or something. Other than that, I mean, it looks really clean on the back. But because of that spot, I'm not sure. I mean, PSA standards, that might knock it down to like a 6 or 7 maybe. With CGC, I'm not really sure. I already have a PSA 9 copy of this, so I figured if I'm going to do a submission to CGC, it's a good way to test the waters on this Lugia. Same with this Pichu, I've got a PSA 9 one. This is sort of like my spare. That's a scratch on the card, unfortunately. But we'll see how this guy does. One of my all-time favorite cards. Really like that one. And then, sort of because my first CGC slab was a double foil Revelation Hobo, I've got some other double foil Revelation Hollows that I'm going to send in. Don't know how they're going to do because they're not as clean as a lot of the other stuff here. But I kind of just want to have them in the slabs to start building a Hollow Bleed collection. So here's a Celebi. You can see, oh, there's a good shot. Like that. All the way through that dark part of the hollow. Looks really nice. And there's the back. Pretty good. Here's Hound Doom. Oh man. It's so wild, like looking at it in this angle. And then having the light flash across it so the hollow shows. Like, wow. I want to say that because of the double foil error on some of these, that they scratch easier. At least it seems that way to me. Maybe it just makes the scratches more evident, but every time I see one, it seems like there's just more scratches than what I would expect, though they might just be more visible. But this Hound Doom looks so cool. It's not in great shape. I wouldn't expect higher than like a 7 at PSA. So we'll see how it does with CGC, but it's gonna look amazing in a slab. Then Mischievous, oh, you can already tell from there with the eyes how dark they are. Oh, that's so cool. And there's Mischievous. It's one of my favorite ones from Revelation with the Hollow Bleed. I mean, those eyes are just so cool. There's the back. Some corner wear. Not perfect, you know. Probably like, you know, an 8 max at PSA, so CGC, we'll see how it does. This is another duplicate. I have a PSA 9 copy, and then I have this one here, which looks really strong. Centering is a little off, top to bottom again on the front, and there's a little bit of silvering on the top like you might expect from Neo Destiny, but super clean back, and the front of this is also super clean on the hollow. So I'm excited. I think this could grade pretty well, and it's one of my favorite artworks from Neo Destiny. Probably this guy in Dark Scizor, I think, would be my favorites personally. I added these to the sub kind of last minute. These EX Dragon Hollow, Flygon, and Salamence is over here. They're not the winter stamp variants, but this one is particularly really strong. I mentioned I have a few hundred cards that I want to grade with PSA. I've kind of gone through them all to do my own pre-grades and predictions. This Flygon was the only card that I seriously think could get a 10 at PSA. For whatever reason, just, I mean, for looking at this, like, okay, is that, you can tell there's like the slightest amount of wear on that corner down there. But otherwise, I mean, like that's on the sleeve or the case, that's not on the card. It's just a little fleck of something. Like super well centered, super clean. There's really, I mean, it's a really clean hollow, not really any scratches on it that I could find. Again, it's hard to tell with the sleeve and the card saver, but just take my word for it. This is a really clean flying on. So I'm excited to see how it does with CGC. Should do pretty well. And then here's the Salamence. Looks almost as good. I want to say there was something on the back corner somewhere. I don't remember. I guess there's a little bit more wear on the top corners. But I mean, that's still really strong. Man, it would be so cool to have a sealed cello pack of these cards, especially the winter variants. And then I've got a couple Mews over here. I have a bunch of these Black Star Hollow Mews. I got really lucky, years ago at one of my local game stores. I picked up 43 copies of this card for $5 a piece. And I still have like 30-ish left. And I've sent maybe a dozen or so to PSA, and they all got 9s, except one got an 8. So these I know are in very strong condition. It's one of my favorite cards ever, and one of my favorite Pokemon ever. So I'm just obsessed with this card. Love the colors. So beautiful. This is one of my stronger remaining copies. A little bit of, there's a speck on the corner up there, but I mean, it looks really good to me. I tried, when I have like duplicates of these, I've tried to pick out ones with really good centering for CGC, just in case that's more important than I think it is. But yeah. And then lastly, I am really excited about this. It looks really clean. Again, I'm trying to show off like, oh hey, there's no scratches on the hollow, but there's scratches on the card saver. Like, look at all those, right? But it is a clean hollow. It is well centered. Let's bring that a little closer. Amazing artwork. Beautiful card. And if we look at the back, pretty much no whitening to speak of, no wear, well centered. Like, I've never actually graded a new back Japanese card before, so we'll see. But I think that's, I mean, gosh, if that's not like 9-10 range at PSA, I'm not sure what is. It's beautiful. So, really excited about him. And that is going to do it. That'll be my first CGC submission. I'm hoping to send it off today, and we'll see how it does. Cataloging these for my own purposes, and maybe I'll put this up on a YouTube channel for other people to see if you're interested. And if I do that and you watched, I hope you enjoy the cards, and have a good one. See ya.